Namaste, and thank you for tuning in. Do you want to start over? You want to say Nithyananda?
No, sorry.
That's
you
okay.
continue, you introduce, I'll
Okay.
then you ask me.
Then I'll
whatever.
put it over. Okay. Hi, Namaste, Nithyanandam, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Ma Nithya Swaroopapriya, and some of you might already know me. I have a YouTube channel started with the name Ma Nithya Sudevi, and it's my huge pleasure and excitement to announce my dear friend Ma Nithya Yogananda Swami,
Nithyananda.
the main Yogacharya of the Nithyananda Order, who is now starting her YouTube channel.
Thank you. Thanks to Swaroopapriya's inspiration.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. As somebody who has attended Inner Awakening twice in the past and who's been following Swamiji for a long time, Nithya Yoga and Ma Yoga Swami are almost like synonymous for each other. So I feel like so many of you are going to benefit in so many ways from her channel. And I'm so glad that you're agreeing to do this. I feel like there are so many things about Ma Yoga Swami that are inspiring to us, especially people who are born outside of India. And so I'm really happy to have the chance to sit with her, ask her a few questions, and hopefully the things I ask are the same things you'd be wondering about. But what I want to mention is that she's going to be open with her channel the way I am with mine. So if there's anything that you'd like to know about her that I don't remember to ask as the interviewer, please leave your question as a comment, and we can actually make another video like this one answering your questions.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, Ma Yoga Swami, my first question is, a lot of us notice you have a Spanish accent. So where do you come from?
Yes. So I was born in Venezuela, which is in South America. And as you mentioned, I do have, my mother tongue is Spanish. So I moved to the US in before 2000. So a big chunk of my life I lived in the US, especially Miami, Florida.
Nice.
So it is actually in that area of the country, a lot of Spanish also is there. A lot of people from different countries speak Spanish. So I always continue speaking in Spanish and maintaining that. But also I have a little bit of that experience of living in the US before I met Swamiji.
I see. So that's cool. So Venezuela and USA.
Yes.
Not countries well known for their practice of Hinduism.
Not at all, it is true.
So how did you come into this path? What was your first taste or your first experience related to Hinduism?
That is a very interesting question. You know, many people ask me that, and I myself look back and I'm impressed and I'm amazed that actually growing up I didn't know anything about Hinduism.
No.
In my growing up in Venezuela, I was living in Caracas, which is the capital city, and in my school there was nobody who was a Hindu or from India whatsoever. So my whole life I grew up without knowing anything about Hinduism, knowing anything about India.
I can relate.
And now I look back and I realize even in our history.
Right.
See, I went to one of the most privileged schools in the country, where half of the syllabus and curriculum is based in the US, American syllabus. So my parents are thinking that they're giving the best education possible.
Right.
However, there was nothing mentioned about India or Hinduism at all. So I grew up basically knowing nothing about it, more like a taboo or something that people don't even want to talk about, pretty much. Until I moved to the US, it was only in my early 20s that in some way my seeking started happening, that I came to know about Hinduism in a very superficial way. I came to know about yoga. And actually the yoga I came to know, it was almost, they were rooting it to Tibetan Buddhism. So I still didn't know about Hinduism at all. I was very intrigued and passionate about it, but I didn't know still the real roots about it. So my introduction to Hinduism happened almost by mistake. In one of the yoga classes I was taking in Miami, somebody happened to, one of the teachers I was taking the class with, she happened to bring some musicians to class. And they happened to, I've never seen this type of people before. They were wearing some cloth, they were having some hair from here, and they were having some unique instruments I'd never seen in my life. But all of a sudden when they started to play the music, something happened in my heart.
Wow.
That is something happened in my heart, and they were singing some Sanskrit names that I didn't even know Sanskrit also at that time. And I happened to hear some names like Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Hanuman. These different names started.
Wow.
I was listening
Divine
to
names.
divine names, and I had no idea what they are, but my heart melted.
Wow.
I remember having tears in my eyes and feeling something in my heart, like I know this, but intellectually I have no idea anything. I don't know anything about it.
Wow.
But I fell in love. So my whole discovery about Hinduism, I can say it's like an amazing love story. The moment I tap into it, it's just overwhelmingly, I just fell in love. I can
Wow.
say I'm rising in love again and again through Hinduism.
Yes.
And it's still up to now. It is every time I know more about it, I have this feeling.
Even more love. Is
Even
there.
more overwhelming love.
Wow.
So my whole discovering about Hinduism is nothing but a love story, I can
Wow.
say.
Wow. And I remember you told me once that your whole path into yoga and wellness and spirituality kind of coalesced with the time when you decided to become vegetarian.
Yes, correct. That is true. It happened somehow. I was, without knowing, I was seeking for something, as all of us human beings. I didn't know anything about spirituality. I was born and raised Catholic. That is the background. So all I knew was that. I knew just whatever we know, which is not much.
Right.
So in that seeking, I thought through my profession I'll find a solution for human beings, and I decided to go in the path of psychology. So I was studying psychology and sociology and philosophy, and I was in the search looking where is a solution, where is the missing link for human beings not to suffer. In some way I was seeking for something.
Yes, yes.
Somehow, in all my efforts, I ended up upon a book. I made a donation for a organization that does it saves animals,
Okay.
like some organization that saves animals, and
SPCA, that
something
kind
like that. And then I got a book in return. It was a book about it was called the Food Revolution.
Okay.
It was called.
I've heard of this book. It's supposed to be really good.
It was written by the inheritor of a big dairy company,
Yes.
and how he came to understand about the dairy
Baskin
company.
Robbins.
Yes, Baskin
my
Robbins.
poor Ashram mother she subscribes to his newsletters actually.
Oh.
Yes, yes.
So it was just I was not a book reader at back then so much, but somehow that book, even though it is thick
Yes.
book, I ended up reading page by page.
Wow.
And what happened to me is that all of a sudden, when I realized the truth of where whatever we're consuming is actually coming from, basically for the first time I saw the truth. Oh, this is what is the industry behind what products I'm consuming. My first introduction to the truth.
Wow.
Something happened again in my being, and all of a sudden I from that moment I just had tears. Something happened in my heart,
Yes.
and I was not able to consume any animal product. So without knowing one single vegetarian in my life,
Wow.
I didn't know one single person in my whole entire life that was vegetarian.
Wow.
I became vegetarian
Wow.
without knowing.
I can relate to that. I have a very similar story. I think a lot of us do. Those of us who are inclined towards spirituality, we have an innate compassion for other beings.
Yes.
And what I find so cool about Ma Yoga Swami's story, she was seeking to find solutions for humanity to end suffering. Without even thinking about animals, the moment animal suffering was presented,
That's
you
all.
also did what had to be done to prevent being a direct cause of animal suffering.
Absolutely.
This is the example of so many people. I hope they start to follow.
Yes, Ma. And I also grew up loving animals. We have a
Yeah.
culture of having pets and
Yes,
just growing so
yes.
closely with all of them.
Yes.
So I had pets of my own. So I know how intelligent and the relationship we shared.
Yes.
So I was not able to digest the truth behind what is actually happening.
Yes.
So from that moment onwards, meat and everything dropped out of my life. So I had no
Wow.
idea what to eat.
Not knowing any
No,
vegetarians.
I didn't know anything. I had no idea. So I just had to slowly figure it out. What is all about this? So how it happened, slowly, I started to figure out what to eat and buying some books about vegan and vegetarianism. What are some of the things we can do? But more than anything, standing so firmly in the decision. Because at that time I was living in a family who were a very close family. We were a very close family, but the mindset is not there. They feel that meat is part of life, and if you don't have that, you're going to be malnourished, anemic, and poor nutrition, and something is going to be wrong with you. And it's a really intense struggle, psychologically, in so many aspects. So because the change happened from within, it was unshakable. I was willing to stand anything in the table, any complaint, any fight, anything, because it was not, it simply, it cannot change. I cannot eat it. Even if you try anything you can, I cannot have.
No.
So with that strength, I was able to stand clearly in that decision.
Yes.
So, but it happened actually, you were mentioning that after I tried vegetarianism, a natural detoxification process happened within me. Not only I reduced a lot of weight actually from my system, I became more conscious of what I'm consuming, but my mind became so much more clear, and my capacity to understand the consciousness, my understanding about myself, my understanding about society, my understanding about my relationships, about my path, my career, my life, everything started to take a shift. So it was basically one of the most profound detoxification processes this body underwent. And it was nothing but a preparation to meet my master. It was nothing but a preparation to awaken to what for I am here. And not waste this life, not waste this janma.
See, that's so perfect. Actually, one thing my Yoga Swami is saying that I want to stress for all of you, she wasn't seeking spirituality in a conscious way that she was deliberately trying to become spiritually active. But as a side effect of becoming vegetarian, the clarity that happens in the mind, it's something so uncontroversial. It shouldn't be controversial because almost everyone I know who has become vegetarian describes this. The awakening of a higher energy. You're less sluggish, you have more vitality, you're ready to jump up in the morning more quickly as a vegetarian. The clarity to cognize and understand when somebody is explaining, because your focus gets sharpened. And even there's a thing that happened once when I went to an eye doctor. I had a similar story, raised Catholic in a meat-eating family, became vegetarian at a young age while still living at home. But my family eye doctor, while examining my eyes, asked me, when did you go vegetarian? And I asked him, how did you know I'm vegetarian? And he said, every single vegetarian who sits in his chair has very whites of their eyes and has flecks of gold in the iris. And he said, only vegetarians have that. He'll know a vegetarian when he sees one. And when I think of the Vedic scriptures, they stress the importance that for a conscious life, for a yogic life, vegetarianism is a prerequisite.
Absolutely.
And this is why, so even people who aren't seeking spirituality, just by making that one change, becoming vegetarian, they open themselves up to a higher possibility.
Absolutely. See, the effects physically, I was able to feel how it healed my body. I was suffering from lower back pain, stress, so many symptoms of stress from living, the society life in the city, in the middle, so many things, college, school, work, everything was there. So naturally, a lot of stress, a lot of things in the body are expressing that. The moment I became vegetarian, so much health happened in my system. Everything that I became so active. I was practicing tennis and different sports. I just became so healthy, and people were able to see. Even though at the beginning they didn't understand, they were looking at all the benefits that all of a sudden I became so healthy, so radiant, so alive. They were slowly inspired, and it didn't take much for the whole family to become vegetarian.
Wow, congratulations.
Nowadays, all of them, even Thanksgiving, Christmas, they spend all completely vegan or vegetarian.
That's amazing, Ma. That's a big achievement. Actually, one of the things our guru, Swamiji, Paramahamsa Nithyananda, one of the things he said is that if you can convince your family to make the lifestyle changes you've made, you know that you're living it so authentically, because he said the family are the first people who will know if you're doing something for the wrong reason.
Correct.
Because they live with you 24/7.
Yes,
if you're
yes,
faking it, they'll be able to tell.
Yes, yes.
So this energetic shift that happened when you became vegetarian, how cool, your whole family switched.
Yes. It took some time, but finally they all did it. And that is what, even the decision to be here,
Yes.
even they don't understand or comprehend,
No.
they know clearly, they have trust
Yes.
that whatever it is going to be good on me.
Yes. Actually, I get daily messages from two people. My Purvashram mother and my Yoga Swami's Purvashram mother. The two who I'm chatting with the most. So I know for sure she's very excited about Swamiji.
She's very inspired.
Very
She's
inspired.
very inspired and very
Yeah.
active.
Yes. That's so cool.
Yes.
So now, becoming vegetarian, starting to do yoga, falling in love with this Hindu music, not knowing why. All of this is like a slow romance building up, building up, building up, building up. When did you find Swamiji? That's the story I'm really waiting for. How did that happen?
So it happens that after I graduated from college, I decided to spend some time and do something that I was really finding some fulfillment.
Yes.
At that time, I remember all the things that naturally fulfill you were not fulfilling me anymore. Going to concerts, going out, meeting people, having a tea, a coffee.
Yeah.
All these things I was doing, but I was so not finding fulfillment. I was feeling everything's a waste of time.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
this movie is a waste of time. This concert is not, I was finding more like documentaries. I was trying to seek something that enriched me.
Right.
So I was not having a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction with whatever society has to offer.
Right.
So I decided, let me take some time and do one thing that is very healing and I am interested in fulfilling me, which is yoga. And at that time, I approached yoga mostly for healing of my lower back. I was actually having a severe lower back issue, which is a chronic condition. And I was diagnosed by the doctors that it is a aging of a lower back bones.
I see.
So there's nothing to it. They just prescribed a bottle of muscle relaxants and painkillers. And I was not even 21
Not to
at that
cure the
time.
problem,
No,
just
no,
to pacify the feeling.
And then you see, you cannot drive, you cannot do anything, operate anything. You basically numb you down.
Yes.
And I didn't have time. My lifestyle was not for that.
Right, no.
I said, this is not possible. What is another solution? So somebody recommended yoga for lower back.
Right.
And I ended up just trying it once, just for that. And I found that it was helping me.
Yes.
Not only the first class, I remember the first yoga class I took, it was doing so good for my back, but also I learned how to breathe for the first time. The moment I learned how to breathe, again, something happened. I used to, I'm a little bit shy to say, but I used to smoke cigarettes once in a while as a casual, as a social
You know what?
event.
So did I, Ma. When I would go out with friends.
Yes.
I was
that is-
never a chain smoker. I wouldn't smoke in my
but as a
apartment.
social
Yes, I
thing,
was a social
once in a
smoker.
while. And I was able to tolerate the smoke.
Yes.
It is part of life, and you go wherever you are, that is
Yes,
what is there.
Yes.
But after that happened, after I learned how to breathe, they taught us some breathing techniques, some pranayama techniques. At that time, there was no Sanskrit terminology,
No.
but I was so impressed by that experience that it happened, something conscious happened in me. I just said, how is it, like, smoking is the worst thing in the world. How can
Yes,
people do this?
yes,
I
yes.
just felt disgusted by it. From that day onwards, I couldn't tolerate even the smell.
Wow.
So
Wow.
again, another detoxification. All the things that are not longer serving me or supporting my consciousness were simply dropping out of my life, one by one. The food, the lifestyle, the music, the people,
Yes.
the habits, everything started dropping out of my life without me making any decision.
Wow.
It simply happened.
Yes.
So that happened, and slowly I decided, let me spend time doing a yoga program. And that's where I decided, let me learn yoga for 3 months at least after I graduated college. And I went, and that's how I learned a little bit about yoga. I was introduced a little bit slowly through Hinduism. And it was one day I had to move to Miami Beach. I was living in Miami Beach at that time because the teacher training was happening then. And I had a little gathering in the apartment where all the yoga teachers and the whole teachers, everyone who was part of the program came over.
Oh, nice.
We were having dinner and music. So my teacher brought all the musicians to play
Yes,
the kirtans, and we were just sharing yoga, music, and food. All of a sudden, after everyone leaves, there was some book left in by the window in the apartment.
Huh.
I saw the book. I just crossed. I saw somebody left it, and I continued. 1 day passed, 2 days. Every time I was on the way to the kitchen.
Yes.
So I kept looking at it again and again. All the time. It was in the right place. Like when you come
In
to
your
the
direct
entrance.
line of vision.
Correct.
Huh? Yes.
3 days passed. The book was there. The owner of the book calls me and says, I have left my favorite book at your house. Please take care of it. He was living somewhere a little bit far from the beach. I have to go get it whenever I go to the beach. Please keep it safe. I said, no problem. When you are close by, please come. And if you're looking at this video, you know who you are.
Yes.
Sweet. And he comes by after some time, and he just comes, and immediately at the moment I open the door, he just runs towards the book, holds the book and hugs the book, and just like this. I was just so impressed, actually. How can somebody have such a love and connection to a book?
For a book, yes.
I didn't understand that concept. But he just hugs the book, and he was so happy to have the book. And I said, you have come from so far, let me just offer you tea.
Yeah.
So I was pouring the tea into the cup, and this person was opening the book, leaning on the counter, and all of a sudden he was reading, and he giggles. He giggles. And out loud. I said, what happened? Can you share?
Yes.
Oh, it's something about the book. Can I share? I said, yes, please go ahead. He happens to read a part of the book.
Yes.
I was still not looking. He was standing behind me. I was still pouring the water. And it wasn't like the punch of a joke. It was specifically the punchline of a joke. But what happened in me is that I understood the joke. I understood the punch. I understood from where he's actually coming from. And what he meant actually deeper, like, it's like just one look of your best friend or somebody, the closest person in your life. If you just look, you can tell everything just by one look.
Yes, it's true.
It felt like that. It felt like just that line. Such a closeness that I understood the space from where he came from, what he really meant, what it sounded like. Such an amazing experience. I just felt like it's the closest thing I have heard in my life.
Wow.
And I remember experiencing, it is closer than my brother, it is closer than my sister, it is closer than my mother, and these are the closest people in my life.
Just the one joke.
Just that line.
Just that one line.
So it just touched me too deeply.
What was the line?
Ma, can you believe I don't know exactly the
Wow.
line? The line is not there, but the feeling is
But
too
the
strong.
energy is there.
The feeling of what it caused in me is like so real. I can still remember. I can still feel it.
Yes.
I can still feel it in my heart. And that happened, and I just turned around and I said, "Who is this?" I just wanted to know who is it. And he just showed me the book, and he said, "This is he's an Enlightened Master from India. His name is Paramahamsa Nithyananda. Have you heard of him?" I said, "No idea." The name was so strange. India was strange.
Yeah.
Enlightened Master, I didn't know anything about this. But I just melted at that moment. I got the book. He ended up sharing a little bit more about it. And then he said he has YouTube videos. He opened my laptop. He searched for Swamiji.
Wow.
He showed me a video of
Swamiji sent
Swamiji.
his friend, I think.
Then he showed the video on YouTube. I saw Swamiji, and I just melted. Something in me was so excited.
Wow.
And he said, before he leaves, he said, "Okay, I have to go now. See, you look so excited with this book, you keep it."
Wow, the book he loved so much. He traveled so far just to get it. He gave it to you. That's amazing.
He was going with it, and I was like,
wow.
He said, "Okay, you keep the book.
Wow.
I'll just have to get another one." And listen to this. He said, "Soma, I don't know why this is happening to me, but this is the third time I have to buy it."
You know what Swamiji said once? He said, true charity is when you take what you value the most and you give it to somebody else. I think that friend of yours has true charity.
Really, really. Little did I know at that time what all of this meant.
Wow.
And I cannot thank enough to this person, actually.
No.
I just always remember him And I always sent all the blessings and all the punya of me meeting my master to him, because that little moment of he coming to my house and doing this has completely changed my whole life.
Amazing. I can understand that. I think all of us who connect with Swamiji, we'll always remember the person who led us to the Master. That person will always play a special, special role in our lives.
Forever, all my gratitude is always sent to, whether he knows it, realizes it or not, what he has done is too much.
So the other thing is, when did you first come to Swamiji? What year was this? You found him?
So this was in summer 2008.
Okay.
That this happened. I get to know about Swamiji through the book, and the book is called the Guaranteed Solutions book. And if you don't know about this book, I highly recommend it. It is a book that it will speak to you. It doesn't matter what you know or don't know about your spirituality. It just speaks to you. It's such an amazing experience, and it feels like Swamiji is directly speaking to you where you are.
Yes.
And that's what it felt. I was carrying that book with me under my arm like anything.
Just like your friend. It's true, because it teaches you literally everything you want to know about every chakra. What blocks the chakra, what cleanses the chakra, different examples from real life of how a chakra functions when it's open, how it functions when it's closed, or doesn't function when it's closed. And Swamiji gives meditations to unblock each chakra, and woven throughout are these jokes.
Absolutely.
I left this book at my grandfather's house before he knew about Swamiji. The only commentary he gave was, I really like his small stories.
Yes, it just feels like a casual conversation. In between the jokes, in between the stories, your whole cognition about life shifts. And it just heals you from the core. Even if you don't know anything about chakras, even if you don't know anything about spirituality, it just speaks to your logic, it speaks to your intellect, it speaks to your being. It just shifts how you understand yourself and how you understand life in such a beautiful way. So highly recommend that book to everyone.
2008, you find him, you read the book, you see the YouTube videos. I remember meeting you in 2010 during the Living Enlightenment process.
Correct.
This beautiful young girl comes into the ashram, bright-eyed and so excited. And it was Ma Yoga Swami, the first time I met you. And instantly I liked you. There's something about her, she's so warm and friendly and bubbly and outgoing. And
that journey was amazing how it happened, but I actually got to meet Swamiji before in 2009. He did a yogam tour in the US, an amazing, so many people got to meet Swamiji in that tour. It was the yogam tour in 2009. And actually at that time I was in college living in Iowa. I was living in Iowa, and there's a temple in Ohio. So at that time I was really praying that I need to meet Swamiji. I need to meet this person. I still didn't know the concept of guru, disciple. That still was new to me, but I knew I need to meet this person who has influenced my life so deeply. My breath, my everyday was just influenced by him. So I said, I need to really meet you. I really want to meet you. I just had this desire in me. All of a sudden I come to here, Swamiji is coming to the US, and these are all the places he's coming. I was looking where he's going to stay the longest amount of time. I was, wherever he stays the longest, I'll go.
Wow, that's perfect.
And then he was, it happens that in Ohio he has a temple, and he was going to be for 1 week. And I was really close in Iowa at that time. I decided, come what may, I'm coming. The moment I decided, 3 days later, I get a phone call from my Purvashram mother. I left everything, all my job and everything to go back to school. So I all of a sudden I get a phone call from my Purvashram mother saying, all of a sudden you have a check I just received a check in the mail for you, which is the first time your tax return. Because of my age, I never qualified for return. But that year, somehow miraculously, I just get a check in the mail. And it was just the amount to go and meet Swamiji, take care of the whole journey, the whole travel, the programs, everything. I knew exactly after the phone call, when she said there's a check, I knew exactly for what it was. I was so excited inside of me. I said, thank you so much. I can see you, I can meet you. already my Purvashan mother in the phone, she was already having plans.
Yes.
She said, okay, we're going to put this money here. And we're gonna, I said, yes, yes.
Mothers are like
just
that.
deposit
Yes,
it out, yes, whatever you say.
Oh, it's funny.
And then I decided clearly, since that moment, this money is to meet Swamiji.
Yes.
And so it happened. When he came, I just went. At that time, I went through car. I was having my own
Yes.
car, and I drove it was a winter time. Crazy things. I just
Icy
drove
roads, who cares? Yes.
from Iowa to Ohio by car, and I pulled two people along with me because I
Wow,
had to
that's
come with
good.
somebody.
Yes. Yes.
And I went to meet Swamiji, and I remember that week completely it was like it was surreal, like how much videos we watch on YouTube, and we hear the
Right,
prayer and the
right.
music, the entrance music.
I know.
And the whole thing is so familiar. All of a sudden, you're there physically
Yes.
experiencing it. I couldn't believe this is true. I was
Yes.
just not on. It's like between reality and a dream. I was
Yes.
living that for that whole week.
Yes.
It's like this is too. It is too much to believe, to experience. No, the
Yes.
whole week was like that.
Yes.
And Swamiji did Kalpataru program, Yoga Purana program, and Healer's Initiation.
Wow.
And before that, he was having the 2 discourses on the Yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
Wow.
So I got to experience the whole thing, and Healer's Initiation was but I can say like the cream of the cream, the highlight.
Wow.
It was really
So
an
sweet.
amazing experience where you connect so intimately with the master, and the bond of the guru-disciple relationship happens, and the understanding, the experience of the unconditional love that is beyond human happens at that moment. And it was from that moment that my whole life changed without knowing.
Yes.
The completion that happened in me as a human being. We always are seeking for something, attention,
It's true.
love, something. We're always seeking. That
Yes.
seeking what got fulfilled in terms of outside dependency.
Yes.
And how my whole life changed after that.
Yes.
It is impossible to cognize, but only experience.
Wow.
So that is how I met Swamiji.
That's a beautiful story. I'm so glad you shared this, Ma. And I think it's so fascinating that at the time that she found Swamiji, he was doing the Yoga Purana program, the Yogam tour, and you are Ma Yoga. Very, very cool.
Little did I
Your
know.
whole introduction to Hinduism came through yoga.
yoga.
It's like, it's your life path for sure.
Absolutely.
When Swamiji gives us a spiritual name, that name, he says, that's our path to enlightenment.
Yes.
So very beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
And how was it that you made the decision then? So, meeting Swamiji in the Yogam program, she and I attended a 48-day program together once called Living Enlightenment Process.
Yes.
That was a beautiful program. But it was even more than a year after that, I believe, that you joined Swamiji's Sannyasi order.
Yes.
So you took the kavi, the cloth that we're wearing is called
Yes.
kavi.
Yes.
How did that come to be? How did you make the decision? Were you
See, what
yearning
happened
for
is
it?
after meeting Swamiji and participating in the programs and taking the Healer's Initiation in 2009, that whole year, I can say, without knowing, my whole life shifted so beautifully. Again and again, I was just living slowly. It's like a preparation for sannyas without knowing. All the material things that I had, I was ready to let go.
Wow.
I used to be a person that had so many pairs of shoes.
Me too.
All the colors, all the sizes, all the
Yes, yes,
shapes,
yes.
everything. I had so many shoes, purses, earrings.
I'm looking to see if our padukas are close by so I can say now we each have one pair. That's great, Ma.
So all of a sudden, my whole life started to shift. All of a sudden, I got rid of all my shoes.
Yes.
Like that. All of a sudden, I got rid of all my purses. All of a sudden, I started rid of things,
Wow.
And I started to live more different types of interests, focusing more in yoga and living a lifestyle more around that. So I was surrounded a little bit in the yoga community and living with this type of same like-minded people.
Right.
So our activities were more around something a little bit more conscious, I can say. So my life started to change in that way. But I didn't know the concept of sannyas. I didn't know the concept. I didn't know this actually existed or was a choice in people's life or was a possibility in somebody's life. I still didn't know about that. But I can say that a little bit of the lifestyle was started happening, what we call a parigraha, living with minimal things, started happening in my life. I started to live for that whole year with minimal, less and less things. So some of those things, the brahmacharya, the concept of not needing the other person started to happening. The concept of asteya, obviously all these things, ahimsa, non-violence, living a life of more compassion, less violence. So not using leather, not contaminating the environment, and not consuming animal products.
Right.
All these lifestyles started to happen.
Yes.
Like a preparation, I can say. And then in 2010, I was having a strong urge. It was like undescribable yearning that is hurting me, that it was actually physically painful, that I need to come to India. It was this type of call.
Wow.
It was calling me. Okay, it is time. I feel the call now. I remember in 2008, somebody asked me, "You should go to India." I said no. I know I'm not ready. When I'm ready, it will call me.
Wow.
I just knew it has to be like that.
It's true. It's true.
In the mid 2009, I started to have a little bit of the yearning. Okay, I have to go. 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 But in that moment, I was in a relationship. I was having so many commitments, and the job, and paying the car and the rent of the apartment, and so many responsibilities and obligations were tying me back.
Right.
That were not allowing me to take the jump and go to India. So I was postponing it, and it was a strong yearning. I need to go. I need to go. I need to go. All of a sudden, it was not happening. I tried for many months, and I can say that all of a sudden it was full moon. I was driving back from work back to home where I was living in Miami, and I get into a car accident. In that car accident, I had an experience where every single face of every single human being I met in my life flashed in front of me. From when I was a baby, the person who took care of me as a baby, to the gate man in my school, in my preschool, to the person who cleaned who was a person who worked in the house, to every single person in my life that I cannot even remember now, just flashed into me. So I saw the face of everyone, one by one. And this happened, it was obviously one, I don't know how do you call these experiences. But
mystical experience or out of body?
No, I don't know. I remember the car, I was about to crash.
Yes.
And I lost control of the car. And this whole scene happened.
Yes.
So I don't know, the
they
time
say
stopped.
Your life flashes before your
exactly.
eyes.
My whole life flashed.
Right.
That I can tell.
Wow.
So in that period of time, it was so slow, but my whole life flashed.
Amazing.
Every single person in my life flashed in front of me. Until the reason, and all of a sudden, India. The thought, my yearning for India popped. The moment it popped, it was the last thing. I was okay with everything and everyone, because that year itself I was doing so much of completion with everyone in a way. That yearning to go to India, that's the only thing that was there that popped. And the moment it popped, I just collapsed. I just started to cry like I have never cried in my life as an adult. I was crying like a 3-year-old baby.
Yeah.
I cannot describe, from the depth of my stomach to the toes, I was just crying with so much pain. I need to go to India. And I was feeling that, now when will I go? If I don't go, like I was just thinking, this accident now is going to stop me from going to India. I cannot live without that.
No.
That whole thing happened, and I just said, the only thing hanging in me was India. I need to go to India, nothing else.
Yeah.
So that accident happened, and it was so much suffering for me. I got hurt in many places. I got severely injured, but nothing for me mattered. The only thing is India. It was the only thing. I didn't care about the broken foot, the broken bone, or the whiplash, or the whatever effect that happened with the accident. The only thing was when will I go? That was the only thing hanging in me. And then I understood that through this accident, relationship got cleared, whatever was tying me back, job got cleared, car got cleared, apartment got cleared. All of a sudden I was free.
It's a cleansing.
I was free from everything that was tying me back.
That's perfect. A liberation.
And I felt slowly, just in a, I can say maybe in a week's time after the accident, I was recovering. I was doing completion with, at that time, with my Purvashram father, and so many things happened that I was able to complete. But the understanding, wow, now it's like it's happening. Now I just have to make it happen.
Yes.
So it was this breakthrough that happened that allowed me to come to India. So again, I didn't have anybody to come with me at that moment. I was hoping somebody can come, and I try everything. I try to come one person, two. We made plans from A to C. At that last minute, the person didn't come. Okay, I try another person. From A to C, we planned the whole trip. We bought a map. We talked to so many people. The person at the end didn't come. I just said, I cannot wait anymore.
No.
I have to go. Come what may, I'm coming. So I just booked my flight for August 26th.
Wow.
I just booked the flight for August 26th.
Wow. Without a reason, you picked that date.
It was just time to go. I
Yes.
cannot wait anymore.
No.
I didn't know anything. I just have to go. I just somehow I selected that date.
Wow.
August 26, 2010.
Huh.
Then after I buy the ticket, all my family was very concerned. How can you go alone? India, why out of all the places in the world were you going to go to India? I remember one person from Venezuela, one family member calls me and says, I heard you're going to India. I said, yes. She said, okay, I want to support you, but please don't get into the rivers. I heard it's really dirty. When I heard that, I still didn't know much about India. But how much, people don't know anything about India.
No.
The only thing they know is one article in the news, somebody died in the river.
Yes.
This river is really dirty. That is the only thing people know about India, unfortunately.
It's a shame.
It's
Big
such
shame.
a disgrace. So she's telling me about this. I'm like, God, that's her advice.
Don't go into the rivers.
That's all.
And the first thing we want to do is jump into Ganga.
Even though I still didn't know
No.
the sacredness of Ganga, I was just feeling, how can people be... See, they don't know, and it's so educated. This person is a highly educated doctor in Venezuela. That's all the information they know.
Right.
There's no other way to
What the
know.
media feeds them.
Exactly.
Or what the,
That's all the media
history
feeds.
book feeds them. Yes.
So, anyways, that is just an anecdote in terms of not the history of India is unknown, unfortunately. But the point is, I booked the flight, and after 6 days, I remember 6 days after I booked the flight, I get a phone call. I get a phone call from somebody in India, which I met in the US. She said, I am in India now. I'm so happy to talk to you. I just want to let you know there's a program happening in the ashram. I said, which program? And she knew I wanted to come to IA.
Yes.
She said there's a 48-day program. And actually this happened when Swamiji, after the religious persecution. So during the religious persecution, again, more insecurity because I wanted to come and meet Swamiji in India. But at that time, there was no way of communication. There was no information about Swamiji.
Yes.
But my heart was telling me I have to go to India. I have to go. I just have to go. Whether they allow me to meet Swamiji or not, whether the ashram is open or not, I have to go.
Yes.
That is how I was feeling.
Yes.
So I bought the ticket without knowing anything. And the only flight to India was to Delhi. So I buy Delhi. I didn't know anything else. So I buy to Delhi. And 6 days later, I get this phone call saying, there's a special. The Swamiji is back. Wow. I'm so happy. I was just crying like anything. And Swamiji is back. And then she's telling this program is open. I think you should apply. Send an email and see if you can come. Because this program was only for invitation.
Only those who had finished Inner Awakening or who Swamiji names. I remember getting that call and feeling like I'd won the cosmic lottery.
Wow.
I still feel that way.
I know. So I didn't know that the person just said send an email, see if you apply. If you can come. I just couldn't believe. I immediately sent an email and I just hope my best. I want to see Swamiji. You know, I just really want to see Swamiji, whatever it takes. And I get a phone call back saying, we're so happy to let you know that you have been selected to come.
Wow.
That's all. So I asked, when does the program start? August 28th.
And this is why earlier I said you just randomly picked that date because I remember I flew on August 25th from Vancouver to be here for that same program.
My
What a
God.
huge gift that was. Those 48 days. Until May of this year, I considered those the best 48 days of my life.
Absolutely.
The only thing that tops that program for me was coming to May Inner Awakening
Yes.
2015 and jumping
Yes.
into Sannyas.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Every moment with the master is, it is a peak. See,
Yes.
every time I met him, I thought I experienced a peak.
Yes, me
This
too.
is like, there's nothing that can top this in life.
Yes.
I'm fulfilled.
Yes.
Swamiji, what else can I experience? What else can you give me? I am so fulfilled.
Yes.
I can die now.
I felt those exact words so many times after May IA. Actually, when May Inner Awakening ended this year, I said to my Purva Ashram mom, I've just lived the happiest 21 days of my life. Nothing can ever be as good as these
Yes.
last 21 days were.
Yes.
And then I came back to become an ashramite, and from the first day it was even better than May IA.
Absolutely.
And then we got there for October IA, and it was even better than coming here to become an ashramite. Like Ma Yoga Swami says, it's like from fulfillment to more fulfillment to even greater fulfillment. And the fact that it's still such a young mission, we still don't know the height of where he's taking us.
Exactly.
It's too much.
It is too much. It is something that I wish everyone can understand,
Yes.
that when you are living with an incarnation, with a living master, he's always allowing you to experience the big possibility
Yes,
in
yes.
every dimension.
Yes.
I mean, in terms, I remember when I did the first healer's initiation, I was feeling this is the peak of love.
Yes.
That is what I experienced at that moment. Is that there's no, it is beyond human. The first time I experienced the unconditional love, and I thought I was an unconditional lover for
Yes,
animals, for
yes,
human
yes,
beings.
yes.
And like I
Yeah.
really got to taste and how small our human
Right.
love is, and
Right.
how incredibly vast the divine love is. And
Yes.
I thought I had experienced the peak,
Yes.
and every day till now that is being taken to the next level.
Yes.
And that in every dimension, that is life with the master.
Wow.
Everything is constantly taken to the next level. And
Yes.
beyond, I was always feeling, how can a heart stretch to experience so much?
It's so true.
It is, how can it fit?
It's
How can
true.
a human being
How can this
experience
much love?
so much love?
Ah,
You know, and again,
That's
it's
right.
never ending.
no,
It just never ends.
no.
Let
It's
the expansion
infinite.
happen
It's
eternally.
Infinite. It's true. And the funny thing is, if you talk to any of us in Swamiji's ashram, the first thing that you'll hear us describe how much he's giving us every day. How much joy, how much fulfillment, how much excitement to be alive, how much gratitude, you know, how much we're looking forward to the future,
Yes.
how much we're enjoying watching the mission unfold, watching the expansion, even just the construction in the ashram. Every day it's a more beautiful place than the day before. We have a new kitten that we were playing with right before filming this video. Even things like that, it's constant joy and excitement. But what I would really love to ask my Yoga Swami, what exactly is your role here? What are you doing now? Because the same way we're getting so much from Swamiji, he's also giving us an even greater gift, which is to take his gifts and offer them to the world.
Yes.
So Nithya Yoga and detox, can you tell our viewers
Yes,
a little
absolutely.
bit?
I feel grateful for the opportunity Swamiji has given to me in terms of not only teaching yoga, that's one of my main responsibilities, but heading the whole vision for yoga for the whole world. And one of the, I can say, see, Swamiji gave me the name Ma Nithya Yogananda Swami. He gave the name. I didn't realize what a passion I had for this, and it's a constantly. I can say it's constantly opening up to me. I am realizing more and more how passionate I am about it, and every time there's a project, for example, taking class for the Inner Awakening participants, or taking class for the Vishesha Diksha participants who are here in the ashram right now. There's about 800 plus people participating in a program with Swamiji, and I've had the blessed opportunity to teach for this group. It is such a fulfilling experience in so many dimensions, and it is, I can say it is the best lifestyle that anyone can wish for. I feel so excited and fulfilled every morning to wake up and see him, every morning to wake up and be around him, every morning to wake up and do whatever projects we have to do, and be more and more involved and learn more about this path, learning more about the Vedic scriptures and the true purpose of yoga, about Mahadeva himself, who's the Adi Yogi, the first yogi, and getting to learn about this and share this and own it and spread it with the world is my biggest passion.
So cool.
And I am so happy to have the opportunity to be in this path where I'm able to live with Swamiji, fulfill my passion, and enrich the world.
Wow.
It is a huge responsibility, but it's a great pleasure.
Yes, and when she says head the world vision for yoga, it's really true. I see the amount of research Ma Yoga Swami does. Whenever I come to my desk, we have desks in the same building here. The stack of books that she carries around, that itself is a form of yoga, because she's constantly looking up the ancient Vedic references, finding out everything from the Sattvic diet to the traditional asanas to the different discourses different masters throughout Vedic history have given about these different processes, to Mahadeva's original scriptures. Everything. She's like a walking encyclopedia. And I don't mean what she's memorized, I mean what she's physically carrying in the form of these books. The passion and dedication, and it's a contagious thing too. I see that, and I'm inspired to throw even more effort into my own responsibilities here.
Yes.
So, just to sum up the video, give people a bit of a preview of what's coming up. On your channel, what can they expect to find?
See, one of the things that inspired me, actually Swaroopapriya has been beautifully helping so many of us to start this window to connect with the world and let the world know more about this. And one of the things that really inspired me to open this YouTube channel is to share with all of you and to share with the world that whatever we know, life is not just what we know. There's so much more available. I remember growing up thinking this is it. We always have like a little tic-tac, like a little clock in our, okay, when you reach 40s, when you reach your 30s, this is what's going to happen. Expect all of these problems. When you reach 40, get ready to expect all of these issues.
Yes.
And in terms of relationship, this is what is going to happen. In terms of job, this is what's going to happen. So we already think there's only these options, and we have to get ready to die, basically. Get ready to get old, get ready to all these things. So one of the main reasons why I'm inspired to create this YouTube channel is to share with the world that whatever we know is not it. There's so many possibilities, so many available options for all of us to live a happy, fulfilling, and amazing life that is constantly supporting our health, it's supporting our well-being, it's supporting our whole, our emotions, and above all, it is supporting our being, our spiritual component, our real fulfillment. So for anti-aging, for coming out of depression, coming out of different conditions like diabetes, even gray hair, all of these things we have a solution. And above all, it's all about lifestyle, knowing what to eat, what is the best foods for you, what is your constitution, learning about Ayurveda, which is the science of life, learning about yoga, and not just the yoga asanas and pranayama that what most of us know, but the whole component of yoga. What is really more than that? It is a lifestyle. It is a way about cognizing yourself. It's about awakening the multiple possibilities that are latent within us and living an extraordinary life, not just as human beings. So what you can expect in the channel is a glimpse to all of these different options and possibilities, solutions, practical solutions, information, and specifically anything that you want to know. I'm more than happy to answer to your questions, to share with you whatever is available from our vast knowledge of the Vedic tradition, and make it available and practical by the grace and by the direct teachings of a living enlightened master who's here to make all of this ancient wisdom practical and available to all of us. So by his grace, I'll be more than happy to share with all of you. And I invite all of you to be part of it.
Great.
And thank you so much, Swaroopapriya. You take the
pleasure.
punya out of this YouTube channel.
Come on, I'm also a sannyasi. We should have a contest who can win the punya, because I'm also always wondering. Actually, punya means good karma.
Yes.
So whenever you do something great in the world, there's a certain amount of good karma that comes your way, some blessings. And Swamiji explained when somebody is a sannyasi, no matter how much good they do, they're not picking up bad karma for any mistakes they might inadvertently make. They're not picking up any punya for the good that they do. So those who help them along their way pick up the punya.
Yes.
So a lot of goodness is going to come from Ma Yoga Swami's video. If I wasn't a sannyasi, her giving me that punya would be too huge of a thing. But as another sannyasi, where is it going to go? So
We'll
we can
see.
have a contest, win the punya. But I don't think it works that way. But I'm really excited. Actually, before filming this video, we brainstormed a few possible playlists. So like yoga that you can do in 2 minutes or less. If you have a couple of minutes break at work. Questions about detox, how to detoxify the body, decalcify the pineal gland,
Yes.
how to go vegetarian as somebody who did
Yes.
it yourself. So you can expect some amazing content on her channel. I'm also looking forward to it so much.
And one of the also the playlist that is very important, which is a huge component in our life, is one of the playlists we're going to be having is about our lifestyle as a
Yes.
sannyasi, as a Hindu monk,
Yes.
as living by the feet of an enlightened master and a living incarnation. What a little bit of that dimension also you can expect.
Yes.
And please feel free to write and ask any specific questions, any comments. We will be more than happy to share.
Yes. So on that note, thank you for starting your channel.
Thank you so
Congratulations
much.
and welcome to the YouTube world. I know it's going to be successful, so
Thank
popular.
you, Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Ma.
Thank you
My
all
pleasure.
for watching, and I hope to hear from all of you. Thank you so much, Nithyananda.